You are welcome again to another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The trend of things in the cases against R. Kelly has been dominated by blackmail, sabotage and completely unfair treatment. And this was so evident during the New York proceedings where he has experienced the worst of both trials, an inappropriate 30-year sentence and a lot more public scrutiny than elsewhere. The ill treatment and shocking charges dominated by the RICO and Mann Act violation claims all transpired in New York, making it look like the purpose of splitting his case into two was for convenience, to take him to a state where he could be stripped of all his rights as a citizen and railroaded the way the government pleased. One may think we are just being paranoid, but comparing with the trend of things in hometown Chicago, there seems to be a big difference in the way things happen. We had earlier published a video predicting that the way R. Kelly's matters are dealt with should be a lot fairer in Chicago being his hometown. Much as we did not get exactly what we had wished for, there seems to be a more rational approach to matters back home than away. And this could also explain why Kim Foxx saw it prudent that she drops the Chicago state charges before sustaining another blow, because this time, they were going to lose the entire case. There was no way the state cases would have taken the trend of things elsewhere, considering the few witnesses who were on board to testify against R. Kelly not only had no real case, but also had tainted backgrounds themselves filled with deceit and records of lying under oath. The hair braider herself had been involved in a known blackmail settlement of $750,000 paid by R. Kelly. After the sudden shocker that saw R. Kelly win 7 out of 13 counts under Lineweber supervision, Kim Foxx predicted another even bigger blow coming where R. Kelly was going to win on all counts in the state cases. And so she backed down. It looks like the government was not able to secure the sort of cooperation they were able to get from New York's federal judge Ann Donnelly and her counterparts in their bid to terrorize the R&B King. We understand that the Chicago judge must have operated under a lot of pressure from above, but we are glad that in the end he did not give off everything they may have wanted from him. They certainly were hoping for a much longer and consecutive sentence with the New York 30 years, which he didn't grant them. It was also a shocker to the government when they lost to R. Kelly on the majority of counts the day the verdict was read. The panic was imminent when the government prosecutor spoke to the press outside the Dirksen courthouse right after the conviction. You could see the discomfort with what the judge and his jury had decided as they fidgeted with words. If the government thought that it was going to find favor everywhere they went, they were wrong. Of course, to satisfy some social pressures and the politics surrounding the case, the Chicago judge had to throw in a few unfair decisions, but in totality, one can see he tried to leave a window open where a door was closed to give Robert the fighting chance he deserves. This distinct discrepancy between what transpired in New York and what we later saw in his homeland Chicago, is enough to give us reason to think the idea of splitting the case into two was to ensure the bogus RICO and Mann Act charges were tried under the government's favorite judge Ann Donnelly, who seemed to comply with everything the government wanted religiously and without reason. I am not sure the RICO and Mann Act violation charges were going to pass in Chicago under the watch of the vigilant eye of Judge Lineweber. Our prediction was indeed right when we said that back home in Chicago, things would be different. The Chicago federal judge hasn't been at his best, but we can say he has tried to be fair considering the politics surrounding the case against R. Kelly can be life-threatening. A quick example is with how the likes of Akon had to deal with a lot of backlash for suggesting R. Kelly has a right to redeem himself. In fact, the video we produced that featured that clip with Akon speaking on the R. Kelly situation was highly censored. We all saw the drama Boosie Badazz has had to deal with ever since he started defending R. Kelly. Donald Russell, who only tried to stop the airing of the defaming series Surviving R. Kelly, is also paying a huge price for this. We all witnessed the backlash Drake received for crediting R. Kelly for his contributions on his latest album. Indeed, it can be life-threatening to support or defend the R&B King these days. We must therefore credit the judge for the small dose of fairness he displayed, however inadequate. Meanwhile, still in Chicago right after the sentencing hearing, R. Kelly's family members, led by one of his uncles who had been there to show him some support, did speak to the press and said a few touching things. Their presence there again showed that R. Kelly does have the support of those to whom it matters that he is innocent, but that he is simply being railroaded to accept guilt to things he didn't do. According to Linda Hughes, I guess surviving the US government would have made a fine title for the next documentary. It's clear from all this that the government has been on a 4-year witch hunt intended to take down the R&B king. The pattern of events reveals maximum cooperation with government in New York. No wonder they had to split the case into two and take all the alien charges to Judge Ann Donnelly for an easy passing. She probably provided the perfect ally for the government to fulfill its desires. If they knew they were right all along with their accusations, there was no need to take some charges to Brooklyn. We would have seen a single trial in Homeland, Chicago. Only when seeking corrupt tendencies does one look for a particular favorite mediator. Their secret has been busted. According to Patricia Gwynn, I'm so proud of R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean. She is one hell of an attorney who stands for the right fair judgment, and that respects human life no matter what color they are. She was hired to be an attorney to fight for his freedom, but she has succeeded in turning the case upside down, the greatest subject here being they don't have any evidence in New York. May God send one of the angels to watch over R. Kelly and his attorney, and of course his entire legal team. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.